Koriwa pen desu. This is a pen. And this is all the Japanese I know how to say. Yeah, so truth be told, I don't actually know how to speak or read Japanese, though that may have already been pretty obvious. Unfortunately, what this means for me is that I'm barred from a whole world of manga due to this language barrier. There is so much manga out there in Japan today that not only has not been translated into the language that I speak, English, but quite a few that will probably never see release outside of Japan, at least officially. I'm a bit of an optimist, however, and so today I want to talk about the top 5 manga that I want to be officially released in English. Before getting into the video, I need to lay some ground rules first as to what titles are and are not qualified to be on this list. First of all, I want to keep it to just one artist per title, so no repeats. Second, no manga with any kind of bilingual edition, which rules out titles like Osamu Tezuka's Jungle Emperor, which got a bilingual edition of the first volume in 2013. Third, no unfinished translations such as Ryoitsu Ikigami's, Koisei Ono's, and Kazumasa Hirai's Spider-Man the manga, which had about 8 of the 13 stories translated into English. I will, however, consider long-form manga that has had no more than a single short excerpt translated. Finally, nothing that has already been announced for translation as of the recording of this video. For instance, Eiichi Fukui's Igagiri-kun, Young Judo Master, would have been on this list, but it was announced recently that a translation is coming. With that out of the way, let's get into this list in no particular order, starting with number 5. Pataliro by Maineo Maya is a cult classic among those who know about it. I first learned about the manga after having seen the movie Pataliro, The Stardust Project, which I loved. By the way, I watched this film thanks to Kinoko Video, who uploaded an absolutely stunning restoration of the film onto YouTube. Go check it out, and go check out Kinoko Video because they're doing some amazing work over there. Anyway, I thought the film was incredibly funny and visually interesting, and after I learned that there was a manga, I wanted to check it out. Pataliro has run in a couple of magazines. It started in Hana to Yume in 1978, before moving to Bessatsu Hana to Yume in 1991, running in that magazine until 2016. It is still being serialized today, now running in Manga Park. Pataliro is a gag and shonen ai manga. The story centers around the king of Marinira, Pataliro, whose kingdom is located in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. Joined by an MI6 agent named Jack Barbarossa Bancorn and his lover, Marie Giuseppe. I think that's how you say it. So obviously, this manga has been going on for an incredibly long time, and just because of that, I'm not holding out hope that this will ever be translated. I really want to read this manga because if it's anything like the film I saw, it will be a hilarious read and a visually striking manga. Number 4 is Norakuro by Suiho Tagawa. Probably one of the most famous of the pre-war manga titles. Only a single excerpt of Norakuro has been translated into English and was published in the anthology series Kramer's Eargot. Huh, so that's why you added that caveat to rule number 3. Shut up! Norakuro was one of the first truly mega merchandise series, running in Shonen Club from 1931 to 1941. The manga was huge in the 1930s with tons of toys, animated shorts, as well as an anime reboot in 1970 and 1987. The series told the story of a black stray dog named Norakuro, who joins the army of dogs and works his way up to the ranks of captain. The early episodes of the manga were humorous and silly stories, but then he gets sent to the continent where he leads his men, or dogs I guess, in a war against the pig army. Oh no. Okay, so yeah, the manga is very much a product of its time and was a propaganda mouthpiece for the Japanese Imperial Army, especially after the Second Sino-Japanese War started. After the war, however, the character remained incredibly popular, even into the 1970s and 80s, with reissues of the book selling gangbusters. Reportedly, the quality of the manga degrades after the war stories start, but I think that Norokuro is an incredibly interesting historical timepiece and an iconic manga from the pre-war years that deserves to be released in English. We hardly have any pre-war manga published in English, and I think one of the most iconic series from that era deserves to be so. Number 3 is Star of the Giants, written by Iki Kajiwara and illustrated by Noboru Kawasaki. One of the most famous of the sports manga, it amazes me that it has not been published into English yet. This landmark sports title ran in Weekly Shonen Magazine from 1966 to 1971. The manga tells the story of Hyuma Hoshi, a boy who wants to become a top baseball star. His father, Itetsu Hoishi, a former pro player, puts him through rigorous training, turning him into a star pitcher. The manga chronicles the struggles Hoishi encounters and the rivalries he faces as a pitcher for the Giants. This manga is a cornerstone of sports manga, and I think that it would sell fairly well considering its fame. I definitely want to be able to check this manga out. The art looks amazing, and as I've mentioned on my channel before, I love baseball, so another baseball manga available in English is a win for me. Number 2 is Tetsujin 28 Go by Mitsutaro Yokoyama. Another landmark title, this one being important to not just the history of mech anime, but anime in general, being a manga that got an early anime adaptation in 1963. Not only that, but the creator Yokoyama is a legendary mangaka who has influenced a number of other creators, such as Katsuhiro Otomo. Go check out my Akira video where I talk a bit about the influence this creator's had on Otomo. The manga ran in Shonen Magazine from 1956 to 1966. It tells the story of Shotaro Kaneda, the son of Dr. Kaneda, who developed an incredibly powerful robot during World War II. Shotaro becomes the controller of this robot after his father dies. He's a detective and uses the robot in order to fight crime and protect the Earth. It amazes me that not only has this manga never been officially released in English, considering that the anime adaptation, Gigantor, was one of the first anime series to come to the US, but none of Yokoyama's other works in general have ever been officially released in English. Due in part to the importance this manga has, and the fact that I have a general love for manga series like this from the late 50s and early 60s, I really want to be able to check this one out. Finally, Number 1 is Hizuto no Tenshi by Ryoko Yamagishi. This is a historical manga from a member of the legendary Year 24 group. This manga has always intrigued me with its subject matter ever since I first learned about it. The manga ran in LaLa Magazine from 1980 till 1984 and is about a real historical figure in Japanese history, Prince Shotoku. The manga is a highly fictionalized account of the life of this all-important historical figure who united Japan under a government headed by an emperor and spread Buddhism throughout the country. The manga primarily focuses on his love for another real historical figure named Soga no Imishi. From the description of the manga I got from Frederik Schodt in both his books Manga, The World of Japanese Comics, and Dreamland, Japan, this seems like a fascinating and absolutely fantastic read. The drama of this manga seems great, it seems a bit spicy, and the art looks fantastic. I definitely want to be able to check this manga out. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found the titles I included on this list interesting. Maybe some of these titles you yourself want to see get an official English translation, or maybe you discovered something new. Now, some of these titles may never get a translation, whether it's because the manga is just too long or there's no real audience for the manga outside of Japan. Now, thankfully, a number of these manga do have fan translations, and you can find them for yourself through the various channels. Wink, wink. Also, I'm sure some of these series have been translated into other languages besides English. For some reason, a ton of manga series get translated into French, so you could invest a bit of time into learning French. Or you could just learn Japanese, I guess. Anyway, I hope to see you on this channel again real soon. Goodbye.